want to welcome everyone. We've had Jose on the call, I don't know, several months ago, and he was just really in the mode. And now he's like killing it with income. I sent you guys, I think I sent y'all his Facebook post where he made almost as much in the first several months of this year as he did all of last year in our business. So he's on track to make over 6 figures, and he's going to get the trip in just a little bit here, right, Jose? So he's going to qualify for the trip like really in amazing time. But actually right on time for someone that's in the hunt. So Jose, man, tell us what you're doing, man. Tell us, like, you're going to go out door knocking, and so I love that. You're like in the hunt. You got the smoke of battle on you. Talk about what you've done this year to really make almost as much money in the first few months of this year as you did all of last year. What things are changing for you? What things are you like discovering? Like, you're starting to finding annuities, right? So talk about what you've been doing to make that income so far this year.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on here, Alex. I don't take it very lightly. It's just, and I'm a firm believer on you are who you put yourself around. Your closest 5 people. If you're going to be your closest 5 people, you're going to be the 6th, depending on who you put yourself around. And I want to say Alex has been there. My regional manager, Patrick Connors, has been there. Dennis Alliance has been there. And that's what's big too, as long as you have someone that backs you up all the way. When it comes down to going into a home, learning new knowledge, or even just asking simple questions that you may feel like they're stupid, but the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So, you got to keep on learning. As long as you're learning and you don't feel like you know everything, then you're going to keep progressing. Because as soon as you feel like you know everything, then that's when you put the brake on the car and it stops and it doesn't keep going down the road of success. So basically, and what I'm starting to do is I'm over here in Washington now. I'm not going to tell you I wasn't nervous going from Florida, where it's like most retired to Washington State. Like, man, this is a new market. I was working a spot that I didn't like, so then I had to adjust it. And that's just pretty much what I've been doing all this year, is finding the sweet spot. Okay, is this spot, is this county good? Okay, well, that county, let's go to Seattle. Is that good? Let's go back to Snohomish County. I feel like it's going to not just be baby steps, but be one of the biggest steps that I could do for my life. So what I'm doing is I'm going into a home. First off, I'm on like a lead shortage. And this is the crazy thing, right? Is that in this county, I'm going to be working on bumping up my GMR because my leads are so scarce. It's not like I'm in Florida where there's thousands and thousands of leads. Here in Washington, we're a little bit more narrow. So what I did is I called my leads about 6 to 9 times, set my appointments, called them again 6 to 9 times. Usually what I do, if I'm sitting down and I'm going through like a dial session, which I haven't done for a while because I'm out door knocking. And let's see, so basically what I do is I call my batch of leads up first, and I do it 3 times. If they don't answer, call them again. If they don't answer, call them again. Then I set it over here, the not answer pile. And if they answer and they don't want me to come over, and for some reason, I can't get them to budge, I'm going to put them in the door knock pile, and I'm going to go out there and door knock them face to face anyway. So what I've been doing is primarily door knocks, going out there, boom, 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 knocking on doors, saying, hey, my name's Jose. I'm your benefit coordinator. Just feel like this is something that you sent in to us a little while back. What was going on? And then plastic sheeting is, and then I give it to them. I say, this is what you sent in to us, requested some information regarding your final expenses. Does this ring a bell? And they're like, yeah, that's my handwriting. Awesome. Perfect. My job is to simply go over this information with you, help you see what you qualify for. And they're like, can I have a piece of paper? And I say, no, unfortunately, I work with about 200 different products, and then I point out their home. It's not like it's not like house insurance where everybody fits under one policy. And then I point out that car, and I say it's not like car insurance where everybody fits under one policy. It's more suitable to you. Everybody's, everybody's a little bit different. So my job is to see what would be appropriate and what you could qualify for. So I say, do you have a table that we can sit on to go over this information? Most of the time they say yes. I never ask, hey, can I come in? None of that. Do you have a table that we can sit on to go over this information? So I end up, so I end up going over that information with them, see where they're at. And I've been doing a deep dive. Just, I've been putting myself around Bill Krause, Jake Krause, Joe Walker, Tony Walker. What amazing individuals.
Hey, so Jose, you can turn your video on. I want everyone to turn theirs off so that we have enough bandwidth on this call. All right.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or what you were doing.
All right, keep
awesome. You were saying what?
Keep rocking, dude. So you were hanging around Bill Krause and some of the folks up there?
Yeah, like I'm always a firm believer on, like I said, again, you are your closest 5 people that you put yourself around. So let's say I went to a new area, right? I went to Washington State. I didn't talk to Bill Krause and Jake Krause like I am now. I didn't talk to Joe Walker, Tony Walker like I am now. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these top producers that are in the alliance, as long as you put yourself around them and they see that you're working hard and you're making a step in front of the next foot, in front of the next foot, in front of the next, and just accomplishing goals, even though you're not on their team, they're going to be there for you no matter what, because the fact that we all are a team and we're all a family. And as long as you're learning from, as long as you're succeeding, they're succeeding. And as long as they're succeeding, we can succeed because we can learn right off of them, just piggybacking right off of them, seeing what they're doing. The fastest way to success is taking somebody else's knowledge where you see them at and applying that into your own life. It'll pass you up so far. It's like playing Mario Kart and, and you got those little strips. Well, next thing you know, you're going to hit one of those strips because you see somebody else doing it and you apply it into your own life. Next thing you know that you're going to 10x right away, because you're passing up the stuff that they already witnessed that doesn't work, and you go straight forward the stuff that is working. So when I'm in a home and I'm looking over this, a green sheet, the financial analysis is what I like to call it. I look over it. I get them at first what they ask for. One, is it life insurance? One, is it final expense? Is it home mortgage? Is it their debt? What is it that they sent that in there for? Well, most of the time it's either final expense or home mortgage protection. So when I go in there, I see where they're at, ask them the questions, how their health is, their height, their weight, all of that information. Before I do it, I say, hey, Mrs. Smith, I'm not a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of guy. I like to look over this information with you, and I got a few questions that I'll be asking with you to see where you're at exactly, so I can make a professional, reasonable decision on what you should qualify for. And they said, okay, awesome. And I say, okay, let's, and I just move into the questions, start with the lady first, move into the man next. And then I go down to the home, and then I go down to the mortgage, see where they're at. Do they have an equity line? Do they have a reverse mortgage? Well, how much are they paying for the mortgage? What is the mortgage? What's the value of the home? Do they have equity in the home? And so and then I move it over to their debt. Do they have debt? Is the debt, what do you call that? Is it stuck to a car? Is it stuck to a home? How is this debt allocated so that I can figure out if I can help them out with their debt? And there's been times where at first people say, hey, I don't have enough money for, to put into life insurance. And then I say, okay, then I go to the debt part. I get them enrolled with our debt program, and then I free that money up. Like I had one client who was in her 80s, and she was paying over $1,000 a month in her debt, just spiraling out of control. And I put it in with Empowering America. And then she saved herself $900, about $900 a month and her payment's like 400. So she's paying, you know, she's paying anywhere. She was paying a pretty penny, anywhere between 12 and 13 a month, and on just paying debt. And so basically, I took a little bit of that money, and I like to call it emergency funding. What I do when I go inside of a home, a lot of the times, even if it's not even in that scenario, I'll ask them, hey, does heart attack, cancer, strokes run in your family? And a couple tips: CVS, if they've had cancer over 5 years, and also a heart attack and a stroke over 5 years, they can get a cancer policy, heart attack and stroke policy. Then if they're under 70, go ahead and get them an accidental policy. I've been looking strongly into Washington National with their return of premium on top of their, you know, with their accidental and a heart attack and stroke, which is crazy. And then also I'll get them a whole life policy. And then, I'll first, let's say if they want to get buried or cremated. Well, now cremation is anywhere between $6,000 and $7,000 because of inflation and everything else going on, which is crazy. You know, when my mom passed, it was 2,000, and I'll sit there and I build that connection off my client, and I'll tell them, hey, you know, a story is just, this isn't about knowing the product. It's, you know, you should know the product, and it will help you out a lot, but it's about building a connection, and it's also about moving forward with the client with stories. It's very transactional. They'll tell you a story, you tell them. You'll tell them a story, then they'll tell you, and it's just so on and so on. And by having them follow you by the questions that you ask, you're going to win. You're going to be successful. And so basically, when I go in there, if it's cremation, I'll show them a policy for 6, 8, and 10,000. They'll pick it, okay. And if they have heart attack, cancer, strokes, within Mutual of Omaha, you have to have it over 10 years if you would have cancer, heart attack, or stroke. And so basically, I'll write them a policy based on, okay, does heart attack, cancer, strokes in your family? Okay, stroke does, awesome. I'll get you a stroke policy and a heart attack policy. Did you ever have it? Yeah, over 5 years ago. Okay, awesome. CVS, over 10 years ago. Mutual of Omaha. And then I'll go ahead and then I'll bundle that with an accidental. And next thing you know, instead of just getting a little $6,000 policy, now they have $66,000 in coverage for, let's say, $81 a month. And I say, I can get you this. It covers you every which way, left, right, diagonal, whatever way you look at it. One, if you get a heart attack, cancer, or heart attack and stroke, then you're going to be covered. It's going to pay you $10,000. And this is not necessarily for medical bills. This is for whatever you need it for. If you need help with your bills at the time you're going through this hardship, then it will help you pay your bills. And it's tax-free. And your loved one, if you're super healthy and you don't really have a lot of health problems, what is the number one leading cause of death? It's an accidental. It's accidental death. And even if you're sick, and the fourth leading cause of death inside of America is an accidental. So then I bundle that also on top of a whole life policy. I say, listen, I can get you $66,000 in coverage for $81 a month. If I was to take the $66,000 and put it into this whole life policy, I would be charging you $200 to $300 a month. And they look at it and, holy moly, I said, yeah, it saved me $120 a month just by diversifying it like that. And now you have a happy client who's satisfied, because you got to think, yes, they might have a critical or chronic illness rider on top of their policy, but what if they can access some of their face value? Now they're decreasing their face value. So now what you went in there and tried to help them out with to cover the burial, now it's decreased. Now they either need to get more, or they're just going to keep there and it's not going to satisfy the family. And who knows if the price is going to go up for cremation again. So then what I do, instead of doing that, they have the heart attack, cancer, stroke. So then that goes 10,000. You still have your 6, and then you have an accidental. And if they slip, fall, hit their head, or they're driving, and you know, in Washington State, it's crazy drivers everywhere. If they get hit or whatever, then boom, accidental paid out. And then another thing too, when I'm going through their financial analysis and I look into their money, this is where the fun part's at. I've been hitting retirement left and right, and I'm loving it every single day. You can't be scared. I'm going to tell you what, you know, like Brian Rojas said, it's like a fire. You got to look at this like a fire. There's certain components to a fire that make it work. And if you leave out one component, it's gonna wash it away. Now, you guys know your 4 steps? If you don't, then I'm gonna go over with you. If you do, awesome, I'm proud of you. 1 is going into the home and getting a check or calling over the home. 2 is finding money. 3 is recruiting across the table. And 4 is also getting your referrals. So you need to get your ERSs, your emergency response system, and you need to get all of that together. And that is what you should call their file. As long as their file is completed, then you're doing your job. And then also, when it comes down to their money, I'll say this. Because like, let's talk about if they're burial. Well, not a lot of people put it aside. They need more than just that burial coverage, because cremation and burial coverage, it's not going to pay for, let's say they need to put the home on the market. Well, where's the, the time for that? Or let's say they have to hire somebody to move out their mom and dad's stuff or the grandma and grandpa stuff. Where's the time for that? Yes, they can have a garage sale, but it's always better to have a little bit of a cushion so that you have it right there for you, just in case you need it. You never know what kind of bill is going to pop up. You don't know what kind of problem is going to pop up. You don't know what exact mom and dad or grandma and grandpa did with inside of their life that's going to pop up out of nowhere, so have that. So what I do is I say, do you have anything set aside that will be able to subsidize any of your final costs, such as a savings? Do you have anything saved up for yourself? And they'll say yes. And if they're hesitant and they're like, I say, hey, I just need a rough estimate to see where you're at. And they'll tell me. I say, okay, do you have a 401k IRA annuity? Do you have a CD? Do you have stocks and bonds? And normally, let's say they're in with Edward Jones and they don't know it. They're just in a portfolio. They're in stocks and bonds most of the time. And so what I'll do is I say, hey, I'm a firm believer in my clients are always right. But if I can show them something better that's a little bit more appropriate for them and more suitable, then awesome. That is what I would love to do. I appreciate you for trusting me to come inside of your home and allowing me to talk to you about your final expenses or your home mortgage and trusting me to be your insurance agent. What I would love to do is set a meeting up with either, and this is kind of what I'm doing. I'm setting it up with Dennis. I would love to set it up with I'm setting up with my upline. I would love to set a meeting up with Dennis Lyons, who is a financial expert, who is there to help me and help my clients out the best way possible when it comes down to their retirements. And then from there, when Dennis goes in there and helps me, or Patrick Connors goes in there and we kind of see overall where they're at, if it's big enough, I'll go ahead and use BAM. If it's small enough, I'll just roll it over in an annuity if they have enough money to roll over to annuity, and if it's suitable for them. If it's not, then of course, I'm going to get that money over to BAM and I'm going to put it into a managed account. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And you just got to remember when you're inside of a home, listen, if I have 10 meetings in 2 days, and if I can only sit with 5 and I write 6, oh man, I'm happy, because I love the one that I'm with. If that means if I'm staying in a home for 3 hours, because I'm in here writing policies left and right, and I'm helping this family out left and right, and they got money and I'm doing it, you bet that I'm going to stay in that home for 3 hours, because by the end of the day, you're the one that took the time with them. Did the other insurance agent? And there's been times where I went to the home and said, oh my God, that insurance agent was there for 3 hours. And I'm thinking, well, he did a good job. And then I'll go in there and just rewrite it because I can do something better. Now I'm a firm, hey man, I'm cocky. I'm cocky when it comes down to our products. We have the best products in the nation, And I'm learning these annuities left and right. I just found a lady who's 82 years old. And I think she's 81, but anyway, she's 81 years old. And her name is Simone. And we became best friends. We literally sat there on our porch the other day, just talked for hours. Right after me and Dennis helped her out. And now she had this, what was it? It was like some kind of, it was a long-term care policy. And in this long-term care policy, she put $75,000 down. I'm thinking, why would somebody tell you to put $75,000 down in a long-term care policy? They should have told you to put that in an annuity, because by now, within the same time she had it in 2011 till 2021, and 10 years difference, you know how much money we would have had? But the 75,000 was reducing from the cash when that was considered the cash value, and now it was reducing the policy, and it was going up. Like she was paying $340, $390 a month, and she had a writer on there that allowed her to take out her Cat basically her 75,000 initiated money that she put in there at first anytime she canceled that policy. So I'm like, Simone, you are 81 years old. What is your likely odds of using this long-term care? She said, my kids, they literally told me to my face that they're not going to let me go into a home. I said, well, there you go. There you go. And she wanted to leave it because she had a reverse mortgage. I took that 75,000 and I put it into an annuity. And so it's just, you have to learn what is the best move. Like we got cards. We all have cards, right? Let's say, or better yet, let's say we're playing chess. Well, now you're looking at what your component just did, what they put in front of you. Now you got to figure out, where can I take this and where can I put it next? What is my next step? And this is what I'm thinking inside the home. And I'm like, my brain's always working. It's always running. Where can I put it next? And just by learning the products, by writing two or three policies in a home instead of one, it makes you feel better because you know down inside that I actually did what was right for my client. And 4 or 2, when it comes down to knowing money and everybody has, people like Medicare, people like final expense, people like life insurance, people like home mortgage. There's inside of this business, there's like different niches that people love. I'm gonna tell you what, I am a dire fan of retirements because I am starting to fall in love with the same amount of time that I can put towards working with somebody's retirement and getting so much more out of it. It's crazy. And when we have this, it's like I said, there's 4 steps. There's the 4 steps. Just stick with the 4 steps, and as long as you're doing that, there's no reason why you should not be successful. But I will tell you what, it all comes down to you. It all comes down to you. Like I tell my agents, I can start the lawnmower for you, and there could be a hedge of grass that needs to be cut. But as long as you're not pushing it, that grass is not getting cut. So on your end, your job is not getting done. I tell my agents that I can lay out in front of you all day long. And I can give you knowledge. I can set you up with people like Alex, Patrick, or Dennis. And as long as you're not pushing it, that job is not going to get done. And inside of the way I think, when I'm out here door knocking, if I can't get them on the phone, and there's been time, oh, she passed away. What? She passed away. I'm like, oh, okay. Now that just makes me want to go out there even more, because now I walked into a home that I didn't even get a touch yet because I didn't take the time right away to go in that home and get her coverage before she passed. And if she don't have coverage and they don't have coverage before they pass, that comes back onto me because I didn't do my job to get that extra step that it takes to make sure that they are covered and their family is taken care of. It's way more than going out there and just making money. It's a personal connection with you and your client. As long as you have a personal connection with you and your client, then there's no reason why they cannot trust you. And as long as they trust you, the more that they're going to be able to. And this is what Grant Cardone says. If they don't know you, they don't flow you. What does that mean? As long as they don't know you, they're not going to know that they have you as a resource. And as long as they don't know that they have you as a resource, there's no money coming back going to you because they don't know you, they can't flow you. And I believe that 100%. That's why I either make a phone call, I go out there and door knock, or C, I'm sitting here trying to recruit. Because when it comes down to this business, we sell, build, and recruit. And that is all it takes. Nothing more. When I first started this, I overcomplicated it. I said, what is the next thing I got to, and I'm still thinking that on the marketing side of things. But you have to sell, build, or recruit. As long as you're doing all 3 of those things, your fire is smoldering and keep putting wood in there and keep putting wood in there. And next thing you know, it's engulfed in the flames. And as long as it's engulfed in the flames, nothing in your spot, nothing in your area is going to be able to take you over, because you have it built so big and so massive that those flames, they're just burning every negative thing in your way. They're burning it all the time. So that's what I'll tell you right now. Just go out there, make an extra step, make an extra initiative, know what you want, know your self-worth. You're worth way more than what you're doing now. Way more. I
Jose,
love learning from people. So
dude, Jose, question for you. So let's kind of break it down for people that are wondering, well, what are those products? Which is your favorite cancer, heart attack, stroke product? So people can start learning that.
You know, it's starting to, well, it's funny. Like I said, there's what I'm gonna start learning is Washington National, because when it comes down to CVS and Mutual of Omaha, they don't have return of premium. So when it comes down to my clients getting a return of premium, I think that's crazy. But right now, if I can write it, Mutual of Omaha all day long, because it's so simple. It's just, okay, they had it over 10 years. I go in there. And I think it's really what's pushing me on that is really the competition, you know, that we have. And I'm seeing Stephanie Rodriguez and Megan Wood up there. And I'm like, shoot, man, I got to get up there. Just got to keep going. And that's the way you got to think, you know. But like I said, if they had it over 5 years, a heart attack, cancer, stroke, then you should get them a CVS plan, because they're going to qualify. They wouldn't qualify for a Mutual of Omaha. If they had it over 10 years, a heart attack, cancer, stroke, then that's where you would get a Mutual of Omaha. And that's what what I would say.
Yeah, so CVS, cancer, heart attack, stroke, that's a CVS Aetna product. And if they've had it over 5 years, then they can get it. Mutual of Omaha is over 10.
Yes.
And Washington National, you like them because of the ROP, return of premium.
Exactly, because they're not wasting money.
Yep. So cancer, heart attack, stroke. And then who's your favorite for accidental death?
Mutual of Omaha all day long.
Yep.
It's again, you know, I'm going to be looking at Washington National and seeing what they have to offer and see what's going on with there. I'm probably going to set up a meeting to get trained up on that. But right now, Mutual of Omaha all day long. It's so easy. The cost perspective on that is good, and it's easy to write.
And then the whole life. What are your favorite, final expense companies that you like to write for whole life?
Not the whole life. Are we talking about just level plans, graded? What are we talking about?
Both.
Okay. So when it comes down to graded, there's only two options that I have in Washington State. I'm gonna tell you this. It's only AIG, and it's only well, these are guaranteed benefit, AIG or Sons of Norway. I can't do Great Western over here. So out of both of those, if I can get them an AIG plan, awesome. You know, that's what I'll go for. Or so when it comes down to my favorite applications right now, there's I love Mutual of Omaha. I love anything that will tell me a decision right off the bat. Mutual of Omaha, Americo, CVS, stuff like that. Anything that tells me an instant decision is what I love. I will be looking at a couple products now that we just brought on. There's what is it? Bankers America or something like that. And then there's also Northwest American, and then there was another one, Liberty National. I think I'm saying it wrong, but
Liberty National. Okay.
And I'm going to be looking at those products because one of them, and this is so good, Alex. One of them has a graded product, but if that person dies within the first year or even the first couple months, it's going to pay your client back out like it would be for the 2 years of that graded policy. So every single premium that they didn't pay, it's still going to pay them back out, and it's still going to pay a 10% on top bonus. So that's the crazy thing. I'm going to be looking into that too.
Okay, cool. And now tell us about your GMR, your lead investment every week. What are you, how many leads are you getting? What type of leads are you investing in every week?
So when I first started here, when I first came to Washington, I was living in another county, and like I said, I was nervous. I was still working it, just kind of getting the layout of the land and feeling it out. Any county that I start, I will start with a rework, and then I'll go up from there. I'll go from a rework to an A3 to an A2 to an A1, and just buy every single lead that is in that county. If I'm going to work it, I'm going to work it. And then right now, what I'm doing is literally I bought, and I've tried several different counties, and there was a couple ones that I didn't care for, so I'm working the one that I like, and that's where I'm at, Snohomish County. And I bought every single lead within inside of this county. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going out there door knocking A3s. I closed 2018 leads all day long. All it is based off numbers. As long as you're getting in front of people, the more sits you're going to have. And the more sits that you're going to have, the more policies that you're going to write. So it's all numbers regardless. A lead is a lead, and all it is an inquiry based off of what they wanted. A life insurance,
Explain to new people, what all these RWs, A1s, A2s, A3s are.
I like to tell my agents, think about it like a batch of cookies. It's that simple. Think about it like a batch of cookies. The newer leads, which that just came out of the oven, those are your A leads. Those are the ones that they went out there and they basically just sent out the mailers and they brought them back to you. And that's what I'm getting through my GMR. Right now, I'm not spending too much. I'm spending about $175 for 5 leads, and that was because I was getting a feel for it. And then, this is what I got taught. Get a feel for it, make sure that it's doing exactly what you want it to do, and the wheels are greased. Then move up. I'm going to be moving up to $500, and then from $500, I'm going to go up to 1,000, all invested in the A0s, because that's really the only ones that I have out here. But when it comes down to, think about like a batch of cookies. A0s are the brand new ones that just come out of the oven. Okay, maybe they stayed up on the counter for a day or two. Now those are your A1s. Okay, well, now they're up there for a week or two. Those are your A2s. Now they're up there for almost a month or more. Those are your A3s, and then so on. Then you got your reworks. And your reworks are anywhere from, recently from over, I say, a couple months to over a couple years. And I get things that are from 2018. I've had stuff I have a couple that were from 2017. And that's just where it's at, just getting out there and making, and with the reworks, yes, it's going to take you more leads to call, and it's going to take you more people to answer the phone because they're not so fresh. And, but I will tell you this, as long as you work your lead appropriately. And what I mean by that, like I said, I'll call them 3 times at first, and I'll call them 6 times because I went back through those leads. And then I'll call them a 9th time at the end of the week on Thursday when I set for Friday and Saturday. And if and on Friday and Saturday, personally, I don't call them again after the 9th time. I'll go out there and just door knock them because obviously I try to get them on the phone 9 times and they're not answering the phone. So I'll just go out there and door knock them. And it's just finding a system that works for you. And then that's it. It's just getting in front of more people to work those leads.
Tell me about your schedule. Like are you doing the Monday dials and then book for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday dials, booking Friday, Saturday?
You know what the crazy thing about that, Alex, is? And then I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm not, I think I have one of the most craziest schedules out of a lot of people. I have one of the most craziest schedules and it comes down to this. I have a lot of personal things that's going on inside of my life right now, from my significant other and what we're doing to help her out right now, and my family and me. It just like basically, so what I've been doing is I just been door knocking. I just been focused on going out, door knocking the leads, because like I said, I bought almost all the leads, and I see, and this is where I sat down the other day and let's say I get 5 A leads, and I only get 2 people to answer, and I set 1 meeting. Well, now I go out there and I door knock those other ones and I get in front of them, and I'm starting to see why Megan Wood has such a successful rate, because she doesn't even call her leads at first. Her brand new leads, she'll just go out there and door knock them. And I've done that off my 2002 or my 2022 leads. I'll go door knock it and they'll see it. They're like, yeah, come right in. It's so easy. It's literally like sliding, putting butter on your toast. It's that easy. Oh yeah, I remember that. We didn't have no record of anybody helping you out. So I figured while I was out here in the Stevens, I'd stop by and see what was going on. They're like, yeah. I said, my job is just to go over this information with you. Do you have a table that we can sit on to go over it? So I've kind of taken a step back away from dialing right now, and I'm more focused on door knocking. I'll dial if I'm at the home, and this is one of the things. Like if I'm at their home and there's a gate in front of the door or in the driveway, or they're not home, I'll call them 3 times. I'll call, okay, 3 times. Well, there you go. And then I'll move on and I'll leave a note. And sometimes, depending on the situation, I'll even send them a text message. And so it's all about me just getting in front of people more. And that's all.
So we have agents that aren't they worried about COVID? Aren't they worried about people coming to their home? Like, what is really the story on that? Like, what are you experiencing?
I'm a stickler, man. Like I will tell you this. If somebody does not appreciate my time and somebody does not, let's say at first I'll say, hey, you know, I totally understand. If I need to wear a mask, I can wear a mask. If I, you know, I have hand sanitizer, everything else. I don't necessarily need to come to your home. We can do this on the porch. You know, we can, or whatever we have to do to make sure you feel comfortable. And so, and a lot of them, some of them will say, no, 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 no. But if they say, no, 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 and if I'm at a home with them and they're treating me like crap, then regardless, there's been times where I just pack my stuff up and I go. I said, I got someone down the road who I need to see because I respect my time as much as I respect them. And if they don't respect me back and it's kind of transactional, then I'll just move on. And that's how I am. It's all about, okay, I got to get in front of the next one, in front of the next one, in front of the next one. I don't have no time to sit here and waste. If you do not want to listen to me, if you do not want to respect my time, and if you say, oh, I already got it, I don't need you, above. Okay, all right. There's no fighting it, Alex. I just move on to the next.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, good. So, so let's we can wrap up now because I'd love to get you out in the out in the thing. What I love is, well, I love seeing your pictures of your selfies with your clients, and it seems like your clients really, they're smiling. You know, it seems like you really have created some really good bond and rapport with the people that you end up helping out. I mean, that just blows me away. So, what are you averaging every week in terms of premium that you're writing? You know, what would you estimate you're doing now?
Anywhere between 5 and 10,000.
5 to 10,000.
5,000 on a bad week, about 10,000 or more on a good week. Last week I went out and wrote, shoot, what did I write? Hold on 1 second. I wrote 3, 4, 5, 6 life insurance policies. And then I wrote 2 annuities last week too as well for $110,000 in annuities total. And that's basically, and so it all depends. Like that annuity, that's anywhere between 5,000, you know, I'd say $3,000 to $5,000 payout, all depending on what exactly goes on with it. And then I'd say last week I did an easy $8,000 premium last week, easy or more.
Yeah, that's cool. So, talk to me about, like, when you start writing, you're writing a lot of policies now, but when you got started, you were just trying to figure it out. Tell me about your placement and persistency. Like, was your placement and persistency, your policy staying on the books, was that, you know, not very good at the beginning, and is it improving? Or, you know, what have you learned about making sure your policies stay on the books?
Yeah, so basically what I do with that is, you know, and everybody's going to have their opinions about this. When I first started, you know, I'd go in there and I'd write an insurance policy and I'd run out. And because I was so nervous, I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, well, maybe, you know, when I started, me and Dennis last year, I started noticing them just dropping off. Dennis is like, man, you're losing a lot of income. You know, this is not what it should be. And I did a self-evaluation, and now I'm taking, like I said, I'm taking more time. I'm staying up more in the house with them. I'm actually going over where they're at. I'm getting an insurance policy that is precise to them, because if somebody else comes in that home and tries to wash it out, they can't, because I got a policy that's so precise to them and so good for them. They really can't find anything else. And I've learned that from Dennis. You know, he'll go home and, okay, well, this is where you're at. This is what I can do that's better for you. Like on Friday, Saturday, I door knocked the home, and she was paying $166 for 2 $5,000 policies that equal to 10. I got her a CFG policy for $112,000 that equaled to 10 on one policy instead of having 2. And so it's basically just taking the time with your client, building the rapport, family, occupation, recreation, and desire. Again, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and desire. By the time you hit desire, why did you send this into us? What are you wanting to accomplish? What is going on inside of your life that makes you think of getting life insurance or final expense or home mortgage? What has gone on? And I build a written transaction. I learned this from Jake and Bill Krause. If they tell you a sad story, you tell them a happy story. If you say a sad story and they tell you another sad story, you then tell them a happy story. So basically, I'm just taking more time with them, taking a picture with them. I say, hey, I like to take a picture of my clients before I go, and they'll sit there and they'll smile, and because I'm hugging them, I'm my arms around their shoulders, and we're sitting here taking a selfie, and we're smiling at each other, and I'll send them that photo, so when it comes down to it, boom, they'll know and remember who I am. And then when it comes down to leave them my information, the card information, they say, hey, do you have a card? I don't have a physical card. I need to get some, but what I have is the President's Club. They gave me an electronic card, and I'll take their cell phone and I'll scan it, and right into their phone, I'll implement it right into my phone. And then I'll make sure that I get an ERS. I need to get better at doing my ERS, but there's always other things that we can work on. And then when it also comes down to it, I make sure.
ERS, and just to brand new people, ERS is our emergency contact system referral system, right?
Yeah, emergency contact. What I say, like, basically when I do that, it's just an emergency contact. If anything was to happen to you, that we'd be able to have that, communication between your loved ones, so we can help process the claim. And then I ask them, do you know why we do this? And they say, no. I said, well, there's $1 billion of unclaimed life insurance in America. Do you know why that is? And they say, well, it's because people don't have a conversation. I said, sure enough. I said, it's not like you're going to get insurance today and you're going to running down your neighborhood holding your insurance policy in your hand, yelling, I got insurance, I got insurance. It's not what happens. And us insurance agents, we don't look into a crystal ball waiting for our clients to just die off. I said, that's not how it works. So this basically breaks down the barrier that there was before, and it makes sure that we process this claim for you. And that's what I tell them on the ERS.
Yeah, that rocks. And I imagine, since you're writing more policies in the home, your persistency is going to go up because you've got your hooks in them, basically, right?
Yeah, if somebody else comes in there and says, hey, I can get you $66,000 for $300, they're like, oh, I got $66,000 sitting here for 81. And because I diversified it like that, instead of just getting them right. And yeah, you can get more income. There's, inside of this business, and that's one thing, you asked me persistency, persistency leads to consistency. As long as I'm staying consistent, I'm always going to be writing something and I'm going to be making money no matter what. But when it comes down to that, it's really not all about the money to me. It's about, how can I help my client out? Do I know what move to make next? Can I play the right pawn that's going to be able to build a rapport with my client that they're going to love me forever? And that's what I do, from their final expense to their home mortgage to their debt to their what else is it, to their retirements. And I'd rather sit there and do what's right instead of writing a $66,000 policy that I know is wrong for them, especially when I do the right thing at first. And if I go into the retirement money, I know when I first did what I was supposed to, now they have even more trust for me. So it's all about just making your steps and just making sure that you're keeping it afloat. And yeah, I'll book meetings, follow up bam with my clients maybe 3 or 5 times, depending on how much I need to. When I just closed 1.4 million, I just moved over to BAM. Well, I put some of it in annuity, I put some of it into BAM. And when I did that, I had to do 5 follow-up meetings for each of my clients. And that just tells me right there, it tells them, hey, I'm not a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of guy. I'm going to sit here and take the time with you that it needs to be able to make sure that what we're doing is appropriate for you. Yeah. And that's it. And then they'll basically just love it. Just love it because you take more time with them. I've had people say, hey, you spent more time with me than my last agent. You came to the home and you explained way more to me. That makes more sense to me than my last agent. And how does that make me feel? It makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel good.
That's awesome, dude. So I can definitely feel like when you got started to now, the business really got from your head to your heart. Like, everyone starts out wanting to make money, but at what point did you start really getting it into your heart that you're here serving people and caring about the people you're sitting down with? And what, yeah, like what was the trigger for you? Did something happen, or was it just, did the business, you just start falling in love with the business and the people?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, it's one of them is getting around the people. It's getting around people that you know. Brian Rojas. Brian Rojas took the time with me. He sat down with me when he didn't, and again, he wasn't my, you know, my upline or anything. He looked at my ATM, or not my ATM, but my calendar. He said, dude, what in the, excuse my language, what in the heck are you doing? And I said, what are you talking about, Brian? He said, why are there so many white spots on your calendar? He said, no wonder you're not writing anything. I said, whoa. I said, Brian, don't mess around, dude. He said, I said, well, he said, come in my room. And sure enough, I went into his office. He said, sit right here. He said, listen to me. I listened to him. And then I started dialing. He started critiquing me and critiquing me. And he said, Jose, when are you ever going to start writing annuities? When are you going to start doing this? I said, wow, man. You know, and it just comes, and then I seen my persistency of people dropping off. I got tired of it. You get up to the point where you're tired of chargebacks. You're going out there working this hard just to pay off a chargeback? No. And it could really tire me. You know, at times I'll still get chargebacks, but you best believe I'm not going to let them charge back without a fight. You know, there's some people you just can't get across to, and it's whatever. You know, it's all about the game. And then there's other times where now I put myself around the people that I know I want to be like. Brian Rojas, Dennis Lyons. Dennis Lyons just regional manager, Alex, and I'm so proud of him. He's been working his ace off to do exactly what he's showing me to do. And it's not like he's telling me to do one thing and he's not doing it. He's doing everything that he tells me to do. And yeah, you know, we're all gonna have opinions, but dude, I'm proud of him. And Patrick Connors, they helped me out, dude. And they're over on the East Coast, and I'm over here on Pacific time. And there's been times where Dennis stays up with me until like 2 o'clock in the morning, just to make sure that we're helping out a client appropriately. And then also make sure you're getting to the meetings. Make sure, I don't care if you're afraid of planes, drive across country, because I did 2.5 days to, you know, North Carolina and 2.5 days back. And just because, and now I'm going to be going to Mexico, and that's another story. And I'm afraid of planes, but whatever. And getting around the people, man, getting around the people, just making sure you're winning the trips, making sure that you're going to family reunion and also NatCon. Make sure if there's a hot spot around you that you're flying or driving to it. Make sure that you're if there's people in your area, not even in your area, in your state, you know, Brian Rojas is, Stephanie Rodriguez is, Dennis Lyons, Patrick Connors, Alex Avians, and go on and on, Bill Krause, Jake Krause, or Tim and Nikki Long, and you know, Joe Walker and Tony Walker. So many people, and I know all these people because I make I make it inside of my head that tells me I am going to work this area. If I'm going to work this state, then I better get to know the people that know the state better than me so I can be successful. And who helped me out with annuities? It was Belle Krause. Belle Krause said, Jose, this is what I say inside of home. And when she told me that, I started doing it. And when I started doing it, the craziest thing, I started writing annuities.
I love it. You know, one thing I love about you, like some agents, you know, they say, well, can I just talk to this person, or can I just, it's like, dude, you just got to get around them. Like, you're having physical conversations when you get around these people. Doesn't that impact you more when you are right there with them? You're looking them in the eye, they're looking at you, and you know, you're in front of them. Doesn't that make all the difference to me?
Yeah, it does. You know, and this is what I've told my wife too. And my wife, she's catching up with me. She's 22 and I'm 25. So I got a little bit more maturity when it comes down to it. And she's still learning in life. And I told her straight up, I said, hey, babe, you know, you need to do a self-evaluation of your friends. I said, you need to say, because I see a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people. You know, I still have friends from my childhood, but I'm not going to go out there, and I'm not, like Andy Albright would say, I have to do what's right for me. I have to move on. And if I need to make a new friendship, I want to, there's a place that I want to be, and there's a place I want to go. I'm sorry, I'm going to be here for you guys, but I need to move on. I need to put myself around Alex Avians, Patrick Connors, Jake and Bill Krause, all these people, because I want to, one, respect their relationship. Two, I want to learn. Three, I want to be successful. And four, by the time I'm 30, I have a goal of being a millionaire. I want to live in a nice place. I want to have nice cars. I want to be successful. And I want to have a team that's out there writing business, that's out there helping other people. Because there is a time, regardless, I love writing insurance policies, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm started more about recruiting, because after going on 2 years, I'm getting to the point where I don't want to say burn out, but I'm getting burned out. I want to go out there and write money. At the same time, I want a team that's out there backing me up. What if you get sick? What if something medically happens to you? What if something happens in your family and you have to go across country? Well, now without a team, you're not going to have any money coming in because you're not out there doing it. With a team, it's going to back you up. So there's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of knowledge, Alex. It's a lot of self-taught. It's a lot of getting around people. It's a lot of staying persistent and being consistent, and everything else that's just going to make you successful, no matter what.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, your stream of consciousness is probably one of the most power-packed stuff that I've ever heard, all packed into less than an hour. And man, you're just, you're awesome. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. I mean, like I think about how young you are and how far you've come, and where you're going to go with this thing, man. I'm just can't be more impressed. And what I love about it is, it's like, okay, well, Megan Wood's doing her thing. I'm going to learn from her, and then you're implementing it. You're probably getting to be one of the type of people that are duplicating her, getting really close to what she's doing. So man, you're doing the right things, dude. So I appreciate your time and you giving us your time, and man, go rock and roll, man. You got stuff going on. What do you think you're going to make this year based on what you're currently doing as far as income?
It's funny. I told Patrick, I said, man, I want 100,000. He talked to me. He said, 100,000. He said, why not 250,000? So I said, all right, let's go ahead and do 250,000. So my goal for this year is 250,000. And this is what I was going to tell you, Alex. There's only 8% of people inside of our organization that make it, and that's because one, people quit, and two, people don't stay consistent. As long as you stay persistent, then you're going to make money no matter what you do, as long as you're learning and you're doing the things that you need to do. So yeah, I'm gonna be on goal this year, $250,000. And I'm gonna tell you what, right now, IULs and annuities are going to be, like I said, in Mario Kart, the little strips that make you advance a lot faster.
That's right.
I'm at 114,000 in points to go to Ireland. I already told my girlfriend, my stepdad and my stepmom, I already said to their face, you guys better be ready to go to Ireland because we're going to Ireland together. And so I already talked it into existence. So now that puts pressure on me to actually do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now clarify for people, because they heard you refer to her as your wife, then you refer to her as your girlfriend. It's not like you have two different.
No, she's been together going on 3 years. I call her my wife. No, what I mean, she's my girlfriend, but we've been going on together 3 years. We're starting to know each other better than we know ourselves. Really. So,
man,
yeah,
I'm proud of you. You're rocking.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro. Well, everybody, there you have it, man. Jose is the man, the myth, the legend, and I'll make this video available for everybody so you can break it down, because there's so much to unpack there, but it's worth every word and every time you take to really understand it. So man, keep rocking, Jose. You are the man. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Okay, everybody. Take care. God bless.